There is jeopardy there, though, isn't there? And so when the fact that you're being voted on, but I mean, you've experienced that in 2 huge ITV shows, the 2 biggest ITV shows. Does that get easier? Is that stressful? Is that, the popularity contest element of it? How do you deal with that?
It's really hard, actually, because, for example, you mentioned, like, on X Factor, for example, that's a real competition, that you're going head-to-head, and you know that you're voted on your performance. But on a show like this, you're just being yourself day to day, and you're not really against each other. You become more of a family. So we're all supporting each other, and you buddy up as well, and you want your buddy to be in there for as long as possible. So the jeopardy is, oh my gosh, I don't want this person to go, or it's, oh, I don't want to leave yet because I'm having the best time. It's more a sense of that rather than that competition. And you don't really think about the popularity almost until I guess you get really far. Because it was when we were getting whittled down, and then we started to think, oh my gosh, wow, people are actually keeping us in. And we're just being us. And that's like really humbling as well, coming from a competition where you're judged on a performance to then just being voted for just for being yourself. We were all just becoming really humbled, weren't we? And just really happy that we were there.
And some people in the group that we would all be talking prior to Holly and Dec coming in, and we'd say, you'd hear people say, I'm not bothered about going, da-da-da. You knew they didn't want to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some people, you knew they were ready.
Yeah.
You just knew at that time. And, at those times, the audience also knew, because the people that wanted to go, they went. And the ones who didn't want to, who might have pretended to, didn't. So it's, it's interesting. And if I were giving advice to anybody going in, my big piece of advice would be just be yourself.
Yeah.
Don't try to be anybody else but yourself. And if you're liked, you're liked. And if you're not, then that's okay too. But if you're yourself, people will like you. Yeah.
Were you surprised by how, for example, Harry became, a hugely popular phenomenon quite quickly for viewers? Were you surprised being in there, just how popular, for example, he was? And did any of your fellow...
Not at all.
I said from the minute I met him, because I didn't know anything about Harry, to be fair, before I went in there. And there were rumours that he was going in there. And I was like, Harry Redknapp? And loads of my football friends were like, yeah, oh my God, do you not know who Harry Redknapp is? Like, what's wrong with you? He's a legend. And I was like, what am I going to talk to him about? I don't know anything about football. And then the minute I met him, we just clicked instantly. And I just knew that if people saw what I saw in him, that he was going to win. Like, ultimately, from the first week, we were all like, Hazard's got this, like, he's going to win this. But then it was interesting because with Anne, in particular, she had a really rough time in the first few days, and she was talking about leaving, and I was like, nah, because I saw something in Anne in the first few hours of being with her, and I thought, if people see what I'm seeing, they are gonna love you, Anne. And then every time she survived the vote, I'd just run up to her straight away and go, Anne, you're still here, babe. You're still here.
And Anne would go,
I'd rather be at the Palazzo.
Yes. As long as they don't make me eat bugs.
She was the most genuine reaction when she got told that she was leaving. She was like, yes! Yeah. She genuinely wanted to be at the hotel.
You were ready.
Anne is here, by the way.
Anne's in the audience there. But Anne, that's what I mean. Anne was ready to go, and the audience knew she was ready to go, and Anne was like, bye. It was like the back of her, she was gone.
Mickey, I think that Anne particularly, Anne and Harry feel like two very, bold somehow casting choices maybe. Like, did that feel that way to you, and do you have to be... Like, I would never, for example, I never believed that Harry was going in. Even from rumours started, I am a...
Even when he admitted it on
until he admitted it. But even with, it just seemed extraordinary you'd get him, and Anne as well in a different way. It seemed such an unusual choice. Yeah. Is that the key, finding unusual choices?
Yeah, I think so. I think the key for casting is that you want the cast to feel like a treat, and you want them to feel like a surprise. I don't want to feel like I've seen them before on a million other things. Yeah. And Harry's been an obsession for years, so...
So you've been trying to get him for a while?
Oh, God, but like with all of them, I've been trying for years, yeah. So.
It's a war of attrition.
Yeah.
I had no idea I knew who Harry was. Obviously, I'm not stupid, but the first thing that we started talking... No, I don't mean it that way. But like Fleur, I really thought I'd have nothing to talk to Harry about, but then we started talking about our relationships, and and that started. And we realized we've been together a long time with our significant others. And I also then started talking to him. I told him that I fancied his son, which he kind of went. Like, your son Jamie, really hot.
Everyone fancies Jamie.
Of course.
He's used to that, though.
No, totally. And then he would tell me the story of how Jamie used to say to him, he doesn't know why son, Dad, why did Mom pick you? Yeah. That kind of thing. So it. No. But these are the conversations that we have that people they're conversations that really come from nowhere. And what I also loved about it was we didn't have these.
Yeah.
We didn't have these in there, and we were we talked. We had to get to know each other. We had to talk to each other, and that might sound like a forced thing, but it's not, because when you don't have that to escape to, and we all do it. We also, but. I don't allow it at dinner anymore. Put it down, talk.
So this experience has had long-lasting effects. Has it changed the way you?
I was kind of like that before, but it has changed more so, because I will check people if they're on there. Put the phone down. I'm like, well, I say, put the phone down. Talk to me.
It was a lovely experience, because at dinner time was one of my favourite times, because we'd sit around the fire and then we'd just talk, because we'd go off in little groups in the day and people would go off on trials and stuff like that. But at dinner time it involved everybody. And that's when all the stories came out, and we would sing so much as well. Oh, it was lovely.
From when you first met each other, that first, right at the beginning, who surprised you the most?
In what way?
Just in terms of not being how you'd expect them to be, from that first meeting to when you got to know them.
For me, actually, I said to Emily, to be fair, because all I'd seen, because we hear rumours of who's going in, but we don't know who's going in. So I would constantly be checking out who could potentially be in there. And Emily, everything I saw of Emily was like, she was gorgeous, like this bombshell, like she was hot. And I was like, oh my God, she's going to be like the shower scene girl. Oh my gosh, she's going to be so hot. Like, how am I even going to compete with that kind of thing? And then we got in there, and she was just so down to earth. And I said and with Sarah as well, I said to both of them, I was like, I Googled you before, and you just look like these hot chicks online. And then we get in there, and you're just like my homegirls, like girls that I could like go to the pub with, girls I could go out with. And they were just so real and so down to earth. And I think that's what I was surprised by the most. Everyone in there was so real and genuine and down to earth. And I think that's why we clicked so much, because none of us were really fazed by what we'd been through, or the glitz and the glam of the industry. I think what we had in common was that we all hustled to get to where we are.
I think
that's why we connected so much.
I have another theory. But the thing for me, I didn't know. The only person I knew was Nick Knowles, because Nick and I launched Channel 5 years ago on with Five's company. We had worked together in our 20s. And so I knew Nick. However, for me being in the States filming on Arrow for the last 5 whatever years, I didn't know Fleur, I didn't know Emily, I didn't know James, I didn't know Anne. I mean, I knew of the things that they had done. I knew when I saw Anne's face, I knew that she was the governess, because I've seen The Chase. But all those people I didn't know. So for me, it was a whole different experience. So I didn't really expect anything from people. I was more worried about the getting along aspect. I mean, and sorry, Noel. I knew Noel from years back. When I was doing Live and Kicking and he was doing House Party. So, yeah, I don't think no one really shocked and surprised me. And I think we all got along also with what Fleur was saying, but also because none of us were in there desperate to revamp a career.
Right.
We all were working, we were doing things. So there was a very different feel for us when we were in there.
But it does give you a career boost, doesn't it? I mean, it does.
Of course it does. Yeah. Hallelujah. I have a catchphrase now. And what's that catchphrase?
Quite right.
Love you all.
Tom, do in terms of the tasks and sorry, Tom. Pushed like a trial. Do you have to outdo yourselves every year now? Do you have to make it more spectacular, more intense?
Yeah, I think it's always going to grow, and certainly with the walk-in, we're always going to try and be more ambitious every year. A few years ago, the skydive was the sort of pinnacle of the walk-in, and that was the moment that viewers we built up to and viewers wanted to see. But actually, over the last 3 or 4 years, we've had to go bigger and more scary than that. So whether that was walking the plank off the focus building or the edge, which the guys did this year, you know, we have to sort of outdo ourselves. And the same thing applies with the trials. And also because a lot of the trials and challenge team come back year on year. And so I think they challenge themselves. They want to push themselves, you know, and you do something out there and you think, oh, actually, maybe if we tweaked it this way or we added this to it, it would be even more intense for the celebrities to face. So I think that happens. And I think you end up sort of outdoing yourself in that way.
I think it's important to give them the credit as well. The team are absolutely unbelievable on I'm a Celebrity. You know, a lot of people, both Australian and from the UK, come back year after year. And everyone just wants to make it better. Each year, make it better. But I mean, walk-in is the one that scares us the most because we do a complete dry run of it. So we do the whole walk-in with stand-ins, just so that we get it right for that first TX. And pretty much every year we change everything from dry run to walk-in, you know, tweak it.
It feels more visually spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be. We want to start every series with the biggest show. There's not many places where you can kind of direct 6 choppers flying around the Australian rainforest. You know, it's an amazing thing to do. But yeah, there is always this pressure to go bigger and bigger.